Hello and welcome back to another pick a card reading. My name is Megan and I'm the creator of Auraborrows. In addition to these general pick a card readings that I do monthly, I also do private readings that you can book through my website, auraborrows.com. Just check the services tab and send me an email and we will set up a date to do a personal reading for you. If you're new to pick a card readings, basically I will have 4 piles set up with different crystals on top of each pile. Listen to your intuition and see what crystal or stone you're drawn to. That reading is meant for you. I'll go into details of what each card holds and hopefully give you insight for the coming month. I use 3 tarot decks in addition to the crystals. The first tarot deck that I use is the Book of the Dead Tarot. I also use Oracle cards and Klimt Tarot to deliver a cohesive message. This month, the cards were incredibly specific, like to the point where, oh my goodness, I was really excited to get into it because everything came out so perfectly. Like when I was shuffling, the exact amount of cards came out to be aligned with each pile, and as I was doing the readings, it just all came together. So I'm very excited to provide to you the end of November reading that will give you a little bit of insight into what your December looks like. So let's jump into it. Here are the 4 piles. We've got pile 1 with Carnelian, pile 2 with the Seer stone, pile 3 with Sodalite, and pile 4 with Flint. Feel free to pause the video if you need time to make the decision on which pile you're most drawn to, and we'll get started. Hello my group ones. If you were drawn to the Carnelian, this reading's for you. For the Carnelian stone, it is used to boost self-esteem, so maybe you're finding that you need that right now. It also is connected to the sacral chakra, so it's tied to creativity and sexuality. In this case, perhaps there's a great deal of passion or desire within you, whether it's towards a person, a project, or maybe even yourself at this moment in time. But we'll get into the cards to see if we can dig into that a little bit more. So for the Book of the Dead Tarot, I have 4 cards for you for this month. So I have the 8 of Cups, Queen of Wands, the 4 of Swords reversed, and the Knight of Wands. To begin, the cups or chalices suit usually signifies emotional moments or things on an intuitive level. And then the 8 of Cups specifically examines like the deep rooted feelings or need for escapism. So I get the feeling that some of you may not know exactly what you're trying to escape at this time. Perhaps it's just this feeling of boredom, which I can definitely relate to. You want to escape from something, perhaps a current situation that you want to break away from. But this card also represents withdrawal or even the desire to abandon something. And as I was pulling these cards, there was this recognition of a project or something that maybe you've been working towards that hasn't been proving too fruitful so far. So maybe that's the thing that you're considering abandoning right now. Moving forward in this spread, it looks like there's 2 routes, 2 possibilities for you. So the Queen of Wands shows independence, health, energy, vitality, like increasing mood levels, but it also is a symbol of motherhood. So for some, maybe that's like saying that you'll be a parent soon if you're trying. I'm not saying that for everyone. But for the most part, I feel like this card and like the idea of motherhood is actually like the birth of a new project, or an idea that brings that passion to you, that new adventure that you seem to be looking for right now. With the Four of Swords in reverse, however, there is a route in this journey that'll lead to burnout. Not from overworking, rather I think it's like stagnation and deep contemplation. You're putting a lot of thought into how to make something work when it's just really not, it's not cutting it. It's actually draining you because you're kind of frozen in this moment trying to get something to work in a way that it's just not going to right now. So this project that I'm seeing with the Queen card in your spread could be an idea that's fairly parallel to what you're hoping to achieve currently, but perhaps it's actually like that motherhood portion is the new approach that's going to allow you that route to success. And then the fourth card in this row, the Knight of Wands. There's so much energy and passion with this card, but it also warns of impulsiveness. So I kind of get the feeling that maybe when you're really excited about something, you kind of fall into that impulsiveness a little bit more. You lend to it because you're excited, you know, like you want to do things, you want to give it your all, and like ideas are coming quickly to you, but maybe consider all the possibilities before you act. Okay, so that's the Book of the Dead spread. There were only 4 cards that popped out this week, but I think that pretty much sums up the first portion. We're gonna jump over to the Oracle cards now. So for the Oracle cards, you got Cancer, you've got Capricorn, and you've got Sol, which is really interesting actually, because Cancer and Capricorn, they're opposites in a way. They're highly compatible because they're like two sides of the same coin. Is that the phrase? Something like that. So basically, the Cancer card is all about family and home, and it's often viewed as like the mother of the zodiac. It's highly sensitive, caring. Yeah, it's carrying a lot of what we understand as like the divine feminine, which is really interesting actually because of the Queen card from the Book of the Dead and like the motherhood aspect and stuff. So if you're looking to have a baby, I mean, now might be a good time to start trying. Maybe there's news on the way. If you're not though, I definitely see this card aligning with like the care to self and like what you're working on as you move forward. Yeah. So whatever this new creation is, I see you like putting a lot of time and care into it. And then the Capricorn is the other end of the zodiac, and it represents like the father of the zodiac and is more the divine masculine energy that represents like stability and tradition. So what I'm understanding from this pairing is that you have a lot of energy to start this new project, and I think it actually, whatever this project might be, might tie into a compassion for others in a way. And it might even be connected to like your divine purpose, if that's something you're looking for. The Capricorn here tells me that you have steady determination to move forward towards your goal. And then I guess we should get to the Soul card. So with the Soul card, this is, I feel, a reminder of what you have to bring. There's a lot of warmth, and I think that really, like, others gravitate towards you because of that. you show strength and growth, and that really inspires others. And even yourself, like once you sort of see things are happening, that just inspires you to keep going. So oh, another thing too, this is so interesting because you're getting a lot of pairings, because Sol represents the sun, and the ruling planet for Cancer is actually the moon. So it's kind of like the opposites working with each other. So yeah, I'm getting that there's actually like a lot of balance in this. That's crazy, actually. Okay, so that kind of covers the Oracle. Now we're gonna get into the Klimt cards. So I pulled 3 Klimt cards for you this week. The first card that I have for you is Temperance, who of course symbolizes moderation, and I guess in some ways it represents that sense of like peaceful balance within all aspects of your life, which is really cool to see after having just read your Oracle cards and basically just saying that. My camera died, so I had to charge it and come back. So we're gonna get into the Klimt Tarot deck. I have no doubts that this month's readings are gonna be just full of surprises. The next card that I pulled for you is the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups, which I pulled earlier. It was like the very first card in your whole spread. So that's really interesting to see it appear again. But the good news is when 2 8s appear in a spread, that usually shows power and motivation. Which is something that we've already kind of covered within your reading today. So I see that you have a lot of power and a lot of motivation to move forward with the projects that you have planned. You're gonna have to tweak the ways in which you work towards those goals. And once you do, you're gonna motivate others and motivate yourself more. So the last card in your overall spread is the 1 of Pentacles reversed. This card is more of a warning, I'd say, to watch what you put your money towards. It kind of reminds me of the card that we saw earlier, just to like watch that impulsiveness. Oh my goodness. Okay, yes. So in these situations, I think this is where it's really good to have that partner that I mentioned earlier with like the Cancer and Capricorn, that balance and stuff. And I think like even the 2 8s appearing is just kind of like that duality, like there's a second person that could be involved. Yeah, it's like showing up all the way through. That's so interesting. So this is telling me that you've got someone by your side. Like there's someone who's supporting you. Maybe it might not be like a romantic partner, it might be like a business partner or something, but it is someone who is very connected to you, and they can be there to kind of balance you from time to time. Like you do have this independence. I feel like you're really in control of how this is moving forward, but know that there is someone there that will help and listen to your ideas and help you to make those decisions that will deter you from that impulsiveness without taking away from your independence. There are going to be some things on this new adventure that are worth investing in. With this final card, it's just kind of saying be wary, but don't be too reluctant to make those important financial decisions. So definitely use the resource of the other person that is showing up throughout this reading. So I'll wrap this all up so it's like nice and neat, and you can walk away with something that's like maybe a little more cohesive and digestible. So group 1, it looks like from the spread here that the excitement that you're looking for is coming to you in ways that you're not quite expecting. Be open to new possibilities, stay balanced, and keep those who support you nearby, because they want to help you succeed, and they're gonna be super, super useful for keeping you on track. Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you so much, Group 1. I hope this helped. Hello, my Group 2s. If you picked the Seer Stone, then this reading is for you. So the Seer Stone is actually such a beautiful symbol. It represents unconditional love, forgiveness, peace, compassion, and a connection to your higher self. So I'm very excited to see where this takes us in the reading. So here we go. We're gonna start with the Book of the Dead Tarot as per usual. So I pulled 4 cards for you this month. So we have the 7 of Swords, the Hermit, the 8 of Wands reversed, and the Lover's card reversed. Don't worry, it's not that bad. Like, Lovers in reverse doesn't mean anything catastrophic, so relax. I am really intrigued by this spread so far, especially since it's tied to the Seer Stone. So let's get into it. The 7 of Swords represents betrayal and deception, which might have been feelings that you may feel are present currently and tied to an experience or force or conflict or something like that. This seems like a really strongly negative card, but I also understand that with this card, there's this possibility that you are acting strategically or being deceptive in your own way as a response to this feeling of betrayal. So you might be acting in a way now that is protective of yourself, but it's not really serving you. So perhaps with the Seer Stone, there's this desire to forgive someone, or at least have compassion towards that person that you feel betrayed by. Maybe this person is even you. Whoa, okay. But yeah, perhaps there's a situation that you didn't feel you handled really well, or you hold regret for something that you did or even didn't do. And this can manifest as like you kind of punishing yourself a bit, and that's not great. It's just a really, really heavy feeling that is coming through the cards right now. The Hermit card, which shows up next in this row, indicates like a lot of introspection. So maybe you're already doing this, a little bit of soul searching. This just pushes me to believe that the first card, that sense of betrayal, is actually coming from within you. Oh, it's a bit to dig through, but perhaps that feeling has manifested into something externally, and the roots of it are within you, though. There's that feeling of something within yourself that you need to confront, which is kind of scary. I get it. So with the Seer Stone, if you were drawn to the Seer Stone, which I imagine you are if you're watching this pile, if you felt drawn to it, I think that your guides or your higher self are leading you to confront that feeling. And the next card, the 8 of Wands reversed, shows me that there's a bit of a reluctance, which is totally fair. There's a bit of reluctance or hesitation on your part. There's that fear of change, and you're afraid to look too deeply into things right now because you are anticipating that they're going to be deeply painful. And like I said, I totally get it. That's a really big step for you. Yeah, you just feel frustrated and want to like kind of push back and delay this introspection, which is fine. Like, I want to stress that like you kind of have to be in the right headspace. Be critical to the point of growth, but not to the point where you're just bullying yourself. There's a lot of unknowns for you right now, but I think you're ready and you have the strength to achieve that inner enlightenment. So the Lover's card in reverse, this is such an amazing way to end this row, because there's so much coming through with this spread. I'm actually like getting like kind of emotional, you guys. I think that like at some point or another we have all this feeling, like there's a lot building up inside of us, and it becomes more and more like daunting to unpack. But with this card, I am seeing so much self-love, and yeah, there's this feeling of disharmony there. Like within this card, there's like, this is kind of saying you have the power to untangle that. You have like the ability to get through all of this. I've heard people refer to this as like kind of the dark night of the soul. I honestly just think of Batman when people say that, but I feel like that kind of captures what you're going through, like needing to confront something deeply rooted in yourself, but coming to it with a sense of compassion for yourself is really, really important. All right, we're gonna move on to the Oracle cards. So for you, the Oracle deck produced Aries, Neptunus, and Pisces. So we have these 3 cards arriving for you. Aries is very bold and a risk taker, so I'm seeing that you have kind of this energy within you. So you have the ability to take on these challenges. And with Pisces, on the other hand, Pisces is deeply tied to like the spiritual, intuitive world. So, and that's so interesting that it's showing up in this pile, because it really reaffirms the power you have to work through this moment. And like with the Seer stone and stuff, that's so interesting. Like your connection to your higher self is really present. You have a lot of wisdom inside of you. But this, it feels like, it kind of feels like anger's blocking you a bit right now. And this anger might be towards yourself. It may actually help to use creative outlets at this time to like uncover some of the deeper meanings of your experience. So I'm kind of getting that with the Neptunus card. Poetry or art, that kind of stuff, it might be a good guiding source for you. Also, Pisces is tied to dreams, so if you're having any dreams, like vivid dreams lately, or dreams that really stand out to you, then it may be worth like writing a dream journal or something, or doing a dream analysis. I know I've done a few dream analysis for people in the past. Maybe I'll make it like a service on my website as well, if anyone needs it. Yeah, you might, your subconscious might be giving you some messages about like the actual root of those issues, and it may not be as daunting as you kind of think that it is right now. So definitely tune into that. With Neptunus in combination with Aries and then Pisces as well, I'm getting like 2 messages here. One is find a way to like keep grounded in your introspection. Like don't allow yourself to go too deep into something that doesn't really have warrant. Don't get lost in the ideas of like what could be or like what should be. Like the coulds and the shoulds are just not useful at this moment. I'm also getting that there might be a need to expand your awareness beyond your own needs. All right, so what I'm getting from this, this message of like expanding your awareness beyond your own needs is like the anger that you feel in the present moment, whether it's kind of incited by a situation that just kind of stirs something within you, maybe even like triggers something. This is kind of like a reminder that you are responsible for the actions that you take after. And I know like sometimes that's really hard to hear, especially when like you're already kind of angry with yourself. Basically be careful of how you react around those people, because like the issue is not necessarily as tethered to them as it is to something of your own personal experience or your own idea of how something should or shouldn't be. Okay, I'm like trying to find ways to like summarize. So basically, okay, the question of, are they the ones who actually made you mad, or are you mad, or do you just feel this way as a result of something they did? Like whatever they did wasn't I presume, an act to make you mad. So just considering that when you're moving forward, figure out what about the situation actually upset you, and then kind of go from there. Like, piece it together and figure out like what the actual issue is. Interestingly, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and then Pisces is the 12th, or the last. So this might indicate that there are like two really far sides of experience right now that are kind of interacting within you, and that it might be best to work towards separating that. But I think it's important to consider both aspects, I guess. Aries is actually tied to Mars. Well, Mars is like the god of war, right? So there is that like fight, that anger, that kind of build up. And then Pisces is like, Pisces is a water sign, so like more emotional. So in tandem, these two kind of like build up a lot of emotion, a lot of really powerful emotions right now. Finding a healthy way to communicate those emotions to others and maybe even figure them out for yourself is gonna make things a lot easier, and I think you're gonna find that a lot of other things fall into place. We're gonna go to the Klimt Tarot. The Klimt Tarot, you got 3 cards. So the first card is the Star reversed, and then we have the Knave of Cups reversed, and then we also have the Magician reversed. So all reversed, and I think I've said this in a previous video, but just because cards are reversed doesn't mean they're negative. It just kind of means that there's like an inverse to what the original card means. Firstly, the Star reverse shows me that there's like feelings of melancholy and nostalgia tied up in what you're experiencing right now. There's also that like timidness, I think, that can be associated to that fear of unpacking all those feelings right now, because you don't necessarily want to feel deeply emotional. But the message that I'm actually getting is that once you start unpacking, once you start like pulling at the metaphorical thread, the whole situational sweater unravels. And I think that's really gonna help you to see what is actually happening beneath the surface. And on top of that, it might actually help you to see in other scenarios and circumstances where you've kind of felt similar to this, how, oh, okay, yeah, all right, how something is going to, or has affected you in the past. And this is actually gonna help you so much to set boundaries, I think, because you're gonna understand that limitation. You're gonna understand on a deeper level why you feel the way that you feel when blank thing happens. Okay, so with the Knave of Cups reversed, I'm seeing that this experience has already been super draining for you. You feel unprepared to take things on right now, and that's kind of a feeling that I'm picking up on throughout this reading. Maybe even some negative thoughts about your own abilities to tackle that thing. Lastly, the Magician reverse does signify a spark of ambition, which I'm really happy to see for you at the end of the reading. It is, however, paired with a bit of an attitude, so you may see that pop up within yourself when you start to really dig in and start on this introspective journey. So, and that's just like the ego kind of trying to defend itself and validate itself for letting that betrayal seep in. You're above the ego though, trust me. You gravitating towards the Seer stone tells me that at your core you have so much love, forgiveness, peace, compassion, and like this inner journey is just gonna remind you that you deserve those values from yourself as much as you give them to others. I'll wrap up with your reading there, group 2. I know you have it in you to start on that introspective journey, and I know it's going to bring you that sense of alleviation and self-love that I know you deserve. So good luck, group 2. Hello, my group 3. If you chose Sodalite, this is your reading. Sodalite brings logic and emotional balance, clarity, and truth. We'll jump into the cards and see where you're at right now and what December has in store for you. Firstly, the Book of the Dead Tarot gave me 4 cards for you today. We have Justice in Reverse as the first card, which tells me that there's something that's happened recently that just doesn't really sit right with you. Maybe you feel it's unfair, or there's just a level of unaccountability that disappoints you in something that's happened recently. Maybe even, oh yeah, you may have caught someone in a lie, or with motives that you don't agree with, and you're not really sure how to move forward. Yeah, so I'm interested to see how we unpack the rest of this row, because what a start. So the next card that I have for you is the Four of Wands, which shows just a whole new mood. Yeah, it represents celebration, joy, harmony, returning and seeing family, like homecoming, which please do safely over the pandemic period. Thank you. So maybe this is you visiting for the holidays. And I find this card actually brings you, like, it's showing that there's peace coming after this negative experience that's dictated by Justice in Reverse. So you might get insight from your trip home on how to deal with the situation that you find yourself in right now. The next card, which is the Five of Swords in Reverse, signifies like reconciliation and making amends after dealing with a past resentment. So in addition to this, oh my gosh, this is making so much sense. In addition to this, I also have the Nine of Cups reverse, which represents unhappiness and pessimism, which you may be you may be letting that build up as you kind of like let things boil. Like you have a very pessimistic view of this person because of the behavior that you've seen recently. Okay, so let's just go over it one more time real quick. So what I'm getting is that your experience with someone has led you to internalize some heavy feelings, and you need to work through it with a trusted loved one in order to move forward to a place where you can release the past and forgive. Okay. Oh my gosh, that was like so straightforward. Okay, so let's see how the Oracle factors in, because the Book of the Dead really summed it up with this one. Just so nicely. Wow. Delivered on a silver platter. Okay, so with the Oracle card, we've got Virgo, Mercurius, and Taurus. What? Oh my gosh. Group 3. This is so crazy to me. The alignment, the flow of this, oh my gosh, it goes together so smoothly. Okay, so the Virgo, I can hardly hold on to the cards. The Virgo placement tells me that you're probably running through this moment over and over in your head, trying to analyze the crap out of it. And like, it's important to give like detail and clarity to the situation and stuff for when you confront the person. This is so crazy. Yeah, it's important to give clear attention to detail, especially when you want to eventually communicate the message, as the Mercurius card represents, because Mercurius is the messenger of the gods, and the planet Mercury symbolizes communication. You want the analytical side and the analytical and articulate aspects of Virgo to identify the issue clearly, and then the steadfastness of Taurus to stand with you and your convictions when it comes time to talk about the situation and address it with the original person. you don't need to overthink the situation. You know what was wrong, and as we saw before in the Book of the Dead, your communication with a loved one is gonna help you to move forward to a resolution on this. Like, you're gonna find so much ease and clarity with communicating with family, or like a close loved one. And then when it comes time to have that discussion with the original person, it's just gonna be so easily communicated. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Thank you. It's so straightforward. So we're gonna wrap up with the Klimt Tarot. I feel like out of all these piles, like honestly, you guys, pile 3, group 3, you have really gotten the most clear message. So maybe that's just the Mercurius coming through for you. We're moving on to the Klimt Tarot. So first I have the Fool card. So the Fool indicates a lack of points of reference, maybe confusion. So maybe this is kind of like, I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself right now, but you are at the point in the journey where you are confused of how to like move forward. You're feeling a little held back because like you don't really want to ruffle feathers, but it just doesn't sit right with you how things happened. Yeah, I feel like you have a really strong moral compass, so you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do with this? Maybe there's a fear of confrontation as well. I do see this as where you're at right now, because you're not really sure how to make the next step. Maybe the person you're dealing with is someone that you want to work things out with, and as I said before, like it's totally doable with the cards that I've seen. It's just right now that you're in a tricky spot of discomfort when it comes to confrontation. But oh my gosh. Oh. You guys, I'm actually shocked. What? Okay, so the next card that showed up is the Justice card. In the Klimt Tarot, it's known as Strength, but is basically interchangeable depending on the deck. But to see that at the beginning you have Justice reversed, and then at the end you have Justice upright now, it just really confirms that things are gonna get straightened out. Like, it's gonna be okay. There's also like a spiritual energy with this card, so you may be guided with your next steps, maybe your higher power, your spirit guides, whatever. Yeah, talking to your loved ones is going to bring a lot of clarity. They have so much wisdom to bestow on you, so definitely go to them. And like I said, oh my god, you're led by moral judgment, and that's why you feel so strongly towards this initial person for being dishonest. So, okay, last card for you guys. The final Klimt Tarot, I feel like the final Klimt Tarot, which is the 8 of Swords, gives a warning, because it indicates that if you don't resolve this in yourself, you'll feel a sense of being trapped in your own head. And I see you as someone who will kind of like cling on to this moment if you don't deal with it or communicate it with the other person who is dishonest, and you'll feel like this psychological block moving forward in your relationship with that person, because they might not know that you feel this way. So that moment will last with you your entire relationship to that person. You're driven by a moral duty, and this comes across so clearly. It's going to drive you to deal with this issue by either getting help and guidance for communicating through time apart and the wisdom of your loved ones, or you will mentally separate yourself from that person, maybe out of fear of confrontation. But one of these options is very clear from the cards that I'm looking at right now. It does look like that route in creating a means of openly communicating will actually bring with it reconciliation. So This may have been the most clear, extensive reading I have ever done. So I hope that it brought you the insight that you needed, Group 3. Good luck! Hi, my Group 4s. So you picked Flint for your stone or crystal pile. Flint's a really interesting stone, so I'm really excited to get into your reading today. Classically, flint is a stone that's used for grounding, security, so if you've been feeling a bit off balance lately or out of focus, then this is a good stone that will help to keep you centered. Additionally, it helps to release negativity and bad habits. So if you've identified a habit that you'd like to kick recently, that might explain your gravitation towards this little guy. And lastly, like a little anecdotal piece, I guess. I used to work at a crystal shop, which is actually where I got this. And the reason that I picked it out was it actually helps with appetite, which I was lacking at the time. Might have been sick. I'm not really sure. I don't really remember. But it did kind of help to get my appetite back. So yeah, maybe you're hungry. If you are, take a moment, pause the video, get a snack, nourish yourself. Yeah, and I guess we'll just jump in. So for the Book of the Dead, the deck presented me with 4 cards for you today. The first card is the 8 of Pentacles reversed. Second card is the 1 of Wands. And then I have the 3 of Wands reversed. And then I have the 4 of Pentacles also reversed. So, what a spread we have today. Firstly, I'd like to mention that you have 2 Pentacle suit cards and 2 Wand suit cards, and Pentacles usually represents like finances in the material world around you, which may tie into the stability portion, or even on the flip side, the bad habits portion of the Flint. But Pentacles also represents like health and body as well, which I guess also kind of relates to both of those as well, because you could have bad habits relating to your body, or you may have just kind of found like your flow in self-care habits. So also in relation to the body, like if you're hungry, get a snack, okay? Let's get into specifics. The 8 of Pentacles reversed talks about self-development, which is good to begin with, but I'm seeing some perfectionism and some pickiness, some nitpickiness that's actually creating a bit of a setback for you. Yeah, this close eye on yourself is actually kind of misdirected attention, which I can already see showing up in the cards ahead of me. I don't want to jump too far ahead, so we'll get there in a moment, don't worry. The next card that I have for you is the 1 of Wands, which shows me that you're inspired to move forward and you have the potential, like you see such potential in yourself and like maybe things that you've been working on. You're getting really excited. I feel like this is, oh my goodness, this just came to me. I feel like this is one of those things where it's like a piece of self-development that you have been really interested in doing, but you've been kind of putting off because you feel like there's a better time to start it. Like there's always something that's kind of like in the way of you starting it. But it's not necessarily true. You're just kind of creating obstacles for yourself, I'm feeling. So ooh. You have the potential though. There's growth, there's new opportunities ahead, and they're really, really promising. Now, with the 3 of Wands reversed, this is where it comes in. Okay, that perfectionism that we talked about in the first card is highlighted again here, because this is a sign that there's a super, super close critical focus on yourself and it's limiting your view. This is leading you to play smaller than your potential and create delays for yourself and your own growth. Oh my gosh, what did I just say with the previous card? Ah, okay. This is aligning really well. This one in pile 3. Yeah, perfectionism may seem like a good thing, but I think in this case it's actually going to be something that, yeah, you're gonna be like going over so many times and you're kind of like missing the important details as they appear, or like you're kind of overlooking your own abilities, honestly. Like that's what I'm getting from this, and I'm gonna go back. This might not apply to everyone, but going back to what I said in the previous card of where like you set a date or something, like you're like, oh, I'm gonna start like making my own meals more consistently or something like that. I'll start on Monday, when in all reality, like you have the full potential to like start today. Something like that. Like you have all the food in your cupboards and stuff. It's just like the marker of like, oh, Monday's the beginning of the week, the beginning of something new, blah, 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 blah. And you keep like telling yourself that, but it keeps pushing. And as soon as you like kind of fail, then you're like, oh, I'll just start again next Monday or whatever, you know, like, but there is no failure here. Okay, like that's where the perfectionism is actually like setting you back, because there is no failure, there's only like progress, and progress is like non-linear. So yeah, but I think like maybe that's another thing that ties into the bad habits aspect of this reading with the Flintstone, is that sense of perfectionism, like really investigating or like tearing yourself apart, or just like creating these setbacks for yourself. It's not useful. Cut it out. So the Four of Pentacles reversed signifies like overspending and greed, kind of like that obsessiveness. So maybe something you can redirect your focused energy on, instead of like that sense of perfectionism that's honestly delaying you. It might help to focus that energy, that attention onto making a budget plan, or like oh, I was talking to a friend recently, and they explained that they're creating like a personal manifesto thing where you write your ideal life, and then you go over it and then write out your, like, you reduce the ideal life to realistic, obtainable goals. And then from there, you reduce it again to what you can work towards right now. So that might be something that you can do for yourself right now. But definitely watch your spending on things that you don't need. So that might be the Flint's bad habit if you're an overspender. It's the holiday season. Holiday season. So yeah, watch out for that moving forward. Next, we're going to look at the Oracle cards. So the cards that came out for you were Aquarius, Libra, and Pluto. So Aquarius and Libra are both air signs, so there's a bit of detachment happening, maybe detachment from those around you, even a separation of self, or a sense of difficulty connecting with others right now. So, but there's a strong push for like change and like restructuring of the things within life. Aquarius is a bit of a rebellious card, while Libra is like the balance card. So it's like making these changes that seem like a little out there, you know, but also keeping within the balance, making sure that everything stays, I guess, secure. Like if we're going with the values and stuff from the Flint, then there is like that balanced, everything gets its own time and stuff. So maybe that also comes from what I was saying earlier about making a plan. Yeah, and then Pluto is the god of the underworld, which is actually a symbol of rebirth and transformation. So, or at the very least, like significant life changes for you. There, like, things are ending, new things are beginning right now, and know that sometimes you're gonna have to like, I feel like I say this probably in a ridiculous amount of readings, but you're gonna have to let go of things in order for new things to come to you. That's the way it is. But these look like really good things, like from what I'm getting from these cards. Like, yeah, there's a big transformation. I see you kicking some bad habits, you know, just living a healthier you. So jumping over to the Klimt. Oh my gosh. This is just wild. Okay, to see this come up immediately after the Oracle card, we have the Death card, which, like, the link to Pluto, incredible. So the Death card, you guessed it, indicates rebirth. So yeah, that's really emphasizing that there are huge changes coming your way. This is so exciting, like such drastic change. And I have a feeling that it's for the good. So like, really don't be afraid. Get excited. Ooh, new year, new you. So yeah, let's see what else the cards have. We've got the Eight of Wands reversed. Oh my goodness, this shows me dynamism, activity, getting things going. Oh my gosh, there's so much excitement. I'm so excited for you guys. There's so much excitement wrapped up in these cards so far. With this card, I'm also seeing like a blending of activities. So in this new beginning, you're finding dynamic ways to bring that sense of security and structure while also tying together some of the things that you really love. So like different aspects of your life. This is where the balance comes in. Work and play becomes one. That is how you keep the balance. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's that's not specifically what's going to happen, but like as an example, metaphorically, work and play, like there is a way to combine them. Okay. So lastly, I find with the Klimt deck, it always, like, the last card is always some kind of warning. I guess it's kind of like, you know, when people have like a catchphrase or like a specific word that they always say, or like a specific way of doing things that you just kind of pick up on and you're like, ah, that's, you know, oh, that's just so and so. I feel like that's kind of the thing with the Klimt Tarot deck. But anyways, the last card in this pile is the Seven of Swords reversed. There you go. And yeah, so with all of this, the warning is that there's a possibility of reopening a wound, which sucks. So perhaps you'll have to take a few steps back in order to move forward to that rebirth aha moment. Additionally, this card can indicate subterfuge, which just a fun word to say. But honestly, like, a not so fun meaning. Basically, be aware of deceit, whether it's used against you or by you, to achieve a result or a goal. So watch out for like some shady deals. Oh, okay, so maybe this ties into the like overspending, bad habits kind of thing. This may actually be a warning to not fall into any like dangerous marketing ploys for self-betterment or like a speedy process in whatever you're trying to like start. So definitely watch out, like come the new year, as we get closer to the new year, watch out for ads and stuff. Yeah, be careful of what is marketed to you, especially if it's something with the pentacles and stuff that I saw previously. Be careful, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of marketing things that target your body, because holiday season and companies always love to do that. So yeah, if you're looking into that, just be careful. Research, read reviews, because I don't want you to fall into that. So to sum up, group 4, I'm seeing you walk into a new version of yourself through this rebirth that's just screaming at me. It's going to bring you incredible change, really, really great opportunities for you. But you need to be careful with how much focus you're putting on yourself, because you have a bad habit of getting too critical. Yeah, watch your overspending habits, and make sure the critical nature that you use or have used on yourself in self-development, you turn towards using against like any shady deals or opportunities that pop up. If they target the idea of like the new you, be careful about that, because the new you comes from inside you. Okay, you just got to take that first step. Okay, so that wraps up your reading, group 4. I hope you got some insight and maybe got as excited as I did. If not more, honestly, I would love that for you. But yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you next month. Thank you. Bye.